Welcome to this AudioFan tutorial. AudioFan is a powerful music conversion software that lets you easily convert your source music files into different audio formats. Whether you're working with MP3, FLAC, WAV, AAC, or other popular formats, AudioFan handles the conversion process seamlessly. This software also supports converting tracks directly from audio CDs, making it a complete solution for all your music format needs. To obtain AudioFan, go to the ESC Soft website. Click on Software, AudioFan, and download demo for free. Once you have downloaded and installed the product, you can launch it from the desktop icon. When you launch AudioFan, you'll receive this pop-up. This is to let you know that we are a verified publisher. Just click Yes to continue. When AudioFan starts, it performs a number of checks. It looks to see if the iTunes configuration file is defined for third-party applications. It also checks to see if there are any iPods attached. And it also checks for attached CDs and a connection to the internet, where it can obtain some information like the CD database. One of the pop-up messages that we saw was for iTunes saying that the XML file is not available to third-party applications. To fix this, we will start iTunes, edit, preferences, go on to advanced, and this here, share iTunes library XML with other applications, is the option that you need to check. Then click OK. Also, a pop-up message appeared to say that there were no iPods available. So I will now attach some iPods and come back to the tutorial. When you have attached the devices, go into Windows Explorer just to check to make sure they're mounted. Now, when you restart the app, you should no longer see those messages. AudioFan has the following layout. The Start menu, which provides shortcuts to various sections of the application. So up here under Select Source, you've got Explorer, which goes to Tab Explorer. So you can either do this, or you can click on the tabs to get to the options. You can also click on the big icon here if you want to be taken to the options available. The rest of the items you have here, these menu options, are for the help file. Gives you more information about a product. About, which provides version information. YouTube tutorials, which takes you to our YouTube channel. Product support takes you to our support page. You can check for updates to see if a new version of the product is available, where you can go to ESC Soft and download the demo version. If your product has already been licensed, with the purchase license key, then when you run the new update, it will pick up the license key and auto register. To check for new versions, click on the check for updates. Here it shows we have the latest version. If you have purchased a license and have activated the product, then you will be able to download any demo version from ESC Soft and install that, and it will automatically activate because it knows that the prior installation was registered. If you find some odd activity with the product, you can report a bug directly to the developer. So here we have user request to report bug, gives us information, provides us with a log information of what the application is doing. So you just put in a message, click send, and that will wind its way to our tracking system. So now we've had a quick look at the first menu, the start menu, we'll go into using the product. When you select a source, it's split into two panels, the source side on the left and a destination on the right. On the right-hand side, what we want to do is select the output folder for our converted audio files. Below here, we select the structure layout of the file system for receiving the converted file. The default is usually set to artist, album, and title. So if you had the artist of Jean-Michel Jarre, album Best of, for example, then it would create within the conversions folder, once you have started the conversion process, a subdirectory called artist, which will be Jean-Michel Jarre. Then within that folder, another one called the Best of album. And within that Best of album folder, you'd get the title. So each of the tracks will be that are converted will go into that folder. I personally use this option here, dashes. So where you have the backslash, that means folder creation. Where you have dashes, that means concatenate the names together into one long file name. So in this case, any tracks that are converted will go into conversion, Jean-Michel Jarre, dash, best of album, dash, and the title of the track. On the audio format, you can select how you want the destination format to be, whether it's AAC, FLAC, OGG, OPUS, MP3, WAV, etc., depending on your needs. And the quality is always default to high, but if you need to compress a lot of songs down to lower levels, lower compression, higher compression at lower file size, then you can just set that here. So if you want to cram a lot of files onto a small device, you would go for medium or low, but we always stick to high. So on the left-hand side for Explorer, we need to find some audio tracks. What we have here is when you select the folder, it will only list the audio tracks found that it supports. It will not give you a list of all the files it finds in that folder. So if I go on to desktop, where I have some samples, Here you have all the tracks from the album. So here you see other characters, foreign characters, which could be Chinese, Japanese, or any other Asian language, that they'll appear here in the correct format. So what we want to do here is to translate these MP3 files into a different audio format, destination format. So what we should do is, as I want all of them, you can individually select them, or you can do select all, choose quicker. Then I will select, let's go for AAC. Once you've made the track selection, click the Start button. When it's completed, you would notice that the check marks against each of the items is also cleared. If for any reason there's a failure or you cancel the operation, they will remain checked. Now we can go to the output folder and take a look. As you can see, when we look at the conversion folder, the conversion has taken place during AAC or M4A format, and you can see the metadata written here. So now we're going to look at the batch option, which you can access via the tabs or the batch icon. Here you can add files if you just want to convert a certain amount of files and not necessarily the a whole folder. So you can just select some and open. And there you have them there. If you want to remove them, you can select, hold down the Control key and select others. Or you can do Control A and select all and click remove. So what we have here now is the option to do entire folders. So I will go here, select the Erasure album, then I'll select the rock albums. You can see them listed. They're automatically checked. And we'll put them into the same folder. And because these are, as you can see here, MP3s, I shall convert them into a different format, maybe OPUS, and then click the Start button. What you can do once you've converted the files, if you wish to test them, if you click onto this icon here, it takes you to a small screen where you can select an item to play. Now, for copyright reasons, I'm going to have to not play the song. Otherwise, YouTube will flag the video. Now we go on to the iTunes tab. And you can see from before, now that we've created the XML file, it will automatically load. If it doesn't load and you need to change where the default paths are, you can click on Settings, set the path to the XML file, and set the path to where the media folder is containing the audio files. It gives you some information here telling you about the versions of iTunes, why on earlier versions it automatically generates this XML file, and later you have to manually set the option. Now, on here, because it's iTunes, you can select the playlists. So what I'm going to do is convert the audio file from this film, and I'm going to convert it into MP3. And as it's quite a long file, it shall take a while to convert. And I'll speed up the video for this. Now we'll move on to the iPod section. And this is very similar. You can select the iPod. You can select the iPod playlist. You can then select the tracks you want. And straightforward, we do exactly as before. You select the format that we want to convert it to. Click the Start button. So on the iPod section here, you also have a scan button. So if you connect an additional iPod, but it doesn't automatically load, you can just click Scan, and then it will go through the reload process. Onto the final panel, we have CD. So as I'm running this software in a virtual machine, I need to select a mounted audio CD drive. As you can see here, it loads in the tracks. It goes off to the internet, downloads the artist, and it presents the cover art and the track details below. If it doesn't load, for some reason, you can click refresh. You can do a rescan for CDs again. You can set to normalize the volume of the tracks, so it levels them out, so each track is the same loudness. So once you set your options here, and unlike the previous tabs, you can only rip a whole CD. You can't do individual CD tracks. So what I do here, I'll select another format, a random one, and click the Start button. Now, as soon as I do this, the entire CD will be ripped in a WAV format, WAV. And once that's done, it will do a second step to convert that WAV into the destination format. And if tags are supported, though, the tag information, the metadata, will be applied to those files. And that's the end of the tutorial for AudioFan. If you need any more videos, please contact us via our support page. Thank you.